Due to the character assassination of both Chizuru, Kazuya, and yes, even motherfucking Yumi in Chapter 218, numerous fans within the Western Winter Kanojo community are feeling skeptical of the legitimacy of Chizuru and Kazuya's romantic relationship throughout the series. Or at the very least, there is doubt within some fans' minds if Chizuru is actually in love with Kazuya at all. My goal with this video is to lay those doubts to rest, because there is no doubt that Chizuru likes Kazuya and has liked him since the early segments of the series, and there is evidence for it dating back as far as Chapter 53. But another main focus of this video will be about as to why Chizuru is not prepared or ready to be in a relationship with anyone, let alone with Kazuya as of yet, and why she keeps avoiding Kazuya's confessions, let alone even opening up her thoughts and feelings to him and to others. I want everyone watching this video to keep in mind, this video will only be covering the story up until Chapter 219. And with the introductions out of the way, let's begin the video. It's clear Chizuru is 120% in love with Kazuya, and has been for over 100 chapters or more. This has been perfectly shown throughout numerous scenes throughout the series. Chizuru is just not ready with her own heart for a relationship in general. It has nothing to do with Kazuya specifically. In Chapter 174, Kazuya confesses to her. Chizuru says to herself she needs to do something. And in Chapter 179, she seems to test the waters at Yumi's party, giving Kazuya a pretty clear sign that she's interested, when she echoes back one of the most romantic things he's ever said to her. And yet, Ruka's bluff makes her cold again, and she avoids Kazuya's attempts to push the relationship forward, deliberately and knowingly. And in general, Chizuru seems to not do anything other than test the waters. The overall picture is that Chizuru is not ready to give her answer. She's still on the fence, but still like to move things slowly at most, and may even prefer the comfort of the winter relationship over a real one. Not because of money, that's absurd, but because it carries a certain security and safety. She can more easily tell herself she can't be hurt by a winter relationship. That's how she can protect her fragile heart, which has been cracked and dented over the years due to the loss of her family. Kazuya's attempts to confess that to her pose a threat. Mommy's insistence on telling Nagami the truth poses a threat. Now Kazuya's plan to tell Nagami it's over also poses a threat. And Chizuru doesn't even know how she's gonna weasel out of this one. Just look at her. She looks so tired in this shot. Chizuru doesn't seem surprised Kazuya is going to end it. Far from it. This is expected. This is about as sad as Chizuru will allow herself to be in public. Chizuru's. Goddamn. In front of other people, save for weeping in front of Kazuya on 164, Kazuya is the one who thinks he is rejected. But now it's Chizuru's turn to look heartbroken. In this one panel here, she's framed as totally alone, because she has no family left. She has no one else to turn to anymore if Kazuya is gone, that is. Chizuru has insecure attachment issues. She's developed such issues due to not having a father. She grew attached to the only man in her life, her grandfather, but he died before she could completely grow out of those feelings, developing attachment issues. She likes to wear a poker face and a mask. Dating would dissolve that mask. She's scared of moving into a real relationship. Kazuya has crippling low self-esteem, and Chizuru is a completely closed-off person. Kazuya could never think Chizuru would want to be friends with him, and Chizuru is downright scared of opening up to someone. So Chizuru's safety net is her winter excuse. She feels safe if she can keep her relationship within those lines with Kazuya. She wants to be in control. Her bringing up the fee on this trip and talking about the discount, for example, in the Paradise arc, is Chizuru trying to get a semblance of control in a situation she's completely uncomfortable in. She's been out of her comfort zone for the entire trip. During chapters 170 through 174, the girlfriend and the date arc, she's trying to come out of her shell. She's been way more open with Kazuya after that cheer up date, and is trying to talk to him about things she's insecure about. She's trying, but for someone as closed off as Chizuru, these recent developments were way beyond what she could handle. Now here's a really, really bad issue. There are some things you should never say to a girl with attachment issues. Here they are. What not to say to a girl with attachment issues. To add to this, Kazuya gives no indication he will reconsider, out of love for Chizuru. He rushes to be considerate of her feelings in this arc, in the Paradise arc, in particular. 1. He tells her she can forget about what happened at the chapel as if it never happened. And 2:13, so she doesn't have to worry about hurting his feelings or responding more to it. 2. He's already thought through the logistics of ending their relationship, so she doesn't have to worry about him holding up his obligations. And 3. He says he would tell Grandma that it's over when they get back to Tokyo. So that all this ends without causing a scene on the vacation. That's all well and good on the surface, but these are precisely the wrong things to say to someone like Chizuru, who has lost everything and everyone she's held dear in her life, and whose hesitation to be with Kazuya as his real girlfriend almost certainly stems from that fear. In particular, 1. He tells her she can forget about what happened at the chapel, which means it has been withdrawn and a chance has been missed. 2. She's already thought through the end of their relationship, which means he's already thought through the end of their relationship, which means he's moving on rapidly. He doesn't even seem to be hurt that she rejected him. 3. He says he would tell Grandma that it's over. Not that it was all a sham. That means that even if they somehow got together, the past lie would still be hanging over them and Mommy would still retain leverage. It's no surprise that Kazuya would be overly considerate of Chizuru's feelings. We've been here before. Chapter 45. Chizuru mentions she may quit her winter job due to getting an acting gig. Crucially, she asks him if he's okay with it, and Kazuya completely deflects, saying that he's asked her for way too much already. Chizuru mopes about this right up until Mommy shows up on their date. Chapter 82. Chizuru once again brings up that she might quit being a rental girlfriend for her acting, and Kazuya insists he's happy for her. Chizuru is noticeably pensive about this. Everything Kazuya does to try to unburden Chizuru for their impending separation is just twisting the knife into her. She shouldn't worry, for he would exit her life and never cause trouble, never come back, and it would be all so easy. It's commendable of Kazuya to try to do the right thing by Chizuru here. It's just tragic that it's also the wrong thing for Chizuru's sense of security. There was a 4chan poster that summarized her quite well. Her being flawed is what makes Chizuru compelling. Kazuya thinks she's perfect, but in actuality she's lonely, misunderstood, and above all a coward. She loves Kazuya, but she's afraid of being vulnerable. She's not ready for a relationship. The entire idea of one compels her. She loves Kazuya, but she doesn't want the next stage yet because she's scared to admit her own internal worst fears and thoughts. She wants to be strong without depending on others. Getting with Kazuya means she has to shoulder her burdens with him. Chizuru in Paradise, or The Road to When the Time Comes. We've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I think now it's safe to say that The Girlfriend of Paradise, though grinding, has been the story of Chizuru trying to figure out what she would do when this moment arrived. She has dodged Kazuya's confession attempts, feeling the moment wasn't right to deal with them. She's faced the threat of Ruka and shown how much the prospect of losing him affects her. She has allowed herself to feel the warmth of Kazuya's family. She has steadfastly resisted Mommy's attempts to be turned against him, but now it's all crumbling. All the way back to chapter 84, she's known this moment would come, and yet she's still completely unprepared. I said earlier I expected Kazuya to fall on his sword for Chizuru, protecting her against his family's ire. I've also said it was conspicuous that Chizuru said Kazuya has been trying to come clean without commenting on how she herself has prevented him from doing so in 2:17, even though she herself stopped him in several of those moments. Note, this is on a blog, so it was from a previous post that he was referring to. One satisfactory conclusion for Chizuru's character arc here, then, is for her to face up to all of it. She's dodged Kazuya's because she's scared. She's asked him not to end it because she doesn't want to lose him in this connection. She continued this charade of her own, in spite of Kazuya's willingness to end it repeatedly, because she wanted him and wanted it to continue. But if all that happened, I dare say Chizuru's character arc will be over. She will overcome it all. It's not impossible to imagine that Miyajima isn't done with this story yet, and maybe Chizuru lets the moment pass by briefly, needing it to get a second chance with Nagami or Harumi to fix it later. Or maybe she lets it all go completely, overcome by her fears, and go into a new phase of the story with Kazuya and Chizuru further apart than ever. In any case, this moment will be defined by how Chizuru faces her hesitations and doubts. The temptation to belong versus the paranoia that it would be all ripped away from her. The moment when the time comes is the moment of her worst fears coming true. Chizuru never speaks her heart. Chizuru never says, I like you in words. If that's the case, then maybe she doesn't really like Kazuya yet. Nah, that's not true. Chizuru has been thinking, I like Kazuya, I want him for a very long time, even though she hasn't said it in words. It's not a direct expression, but Chizuru's feelings are clearly expressed in the story. It's clear, it's distinct. If you change the way you read the manga, you can grasp Chizuru's feelings. It is expressed in such an easy to understand way. It is not a work that is open to consideration or interpretation. What is important is the situation given to Chizuru Mizuhara, especially her relationship with Kazuya, and the action she took at that time. Note, Chizuru's love is never depicted through physical contact like Ruka. For Japanese people, a girl like Ruka is an ideal image, not a real one. In fact, we don't often express our love in the way she does, nor do we say I love you in words on a daily basis. It depends on the person, but such people are in the minority in Japan. The only time we say I like you is when we confess our love. Chizuru's love for Kazuya is portrayed not through physical contact, not through words, but through the cooperation and trust between them. Please, make no mistake about it. These are from the words of a Japanese blogger, by the way. Chizuru Mizuhara does not speak her heart, nor does she show it on her face. Chizuru Mizuhara is a super duper tsundere character. If she were a typical tsundere, she would have desperately tried to convey her fondness for him while saying offensive words and being shy. But Chizuru doesn't really show her affection for Kazuya even after reaching volume 20. She never says I like you to Kazuya, nor does she talk about it in any psychological descriptions. Chizuru is very embarrassed that the person she is conscious of as a boy, future boyfriend, in other words, the person she likes, knows her true feelings. That's why it's hard for her to express her feelings of love for Kazuya and how happy she is to be with him. She can't say I love you or even thank you very well. Expressing her gratitude means she has relied on him, so she may feel that she is showing her weakness. Even though she says thank you in front of Kazuya, she does her best not to show a happy expression. Chapter 55, Do You Have Time For Me Now, is a prime example. Chapter 146, I just wanted to say thank you one more time. I'm not interested in you. I'm only helping you because you asked me to. I only came to see you because I had to. It's basically her inner thoughts that her inner. This is what she wants to convey to Kazuya, basically. And this has been shown in chapter 146 as an example. Because of the relationship between the Kanojo and the client, which is not private, she takes this attitude soon, thoroughly towards Kazuya. No matter how full of gratitude and love she is in her heart, she doesn't show her fondness on her face and hides with a lot of logic. So it's impossible to read Chizuru's feelings from her words and facial expressions, or, as expected of the super duper tsundere, as this blogger classifies. Well, actually, no. No matter how much she tries to hide it, it is obvious to me. This may be difficult for readers who usually read only shonen manga. For example, all the heroines in Go Turban are honest, and when they are in front of the boy they like, Futaro, they honestly say I want you to do this or I want you to do that, and when they don't get what they want, they clearly puff up their cheeks. Furthermore, when they say something they don't really mean, they always tell their true feelings through psychological descriptions such as I'm really thinking, so the reader can easily know the heroine's feelings. In a typical shonen manga, there is no real human relationship where you can say something to this person but not to that person. Characters who can clearly express themselves in any situation look cooler. Such characters are favored, and those who can't speak honestly are made to speak their minds through psychological descriptions. However, Chizuru does not speak her heart, nor does she show her true feelings on her face. Still, I've said Chizuru's feelings are clearly depicted. This is because Chizuru does not speak honestly and does not show it in her facial expressions, but instead shows it in her actions. She is not the first to do this in shonen manga. Isis and Video Girl AI have female characters that were portrayed in a very similar way. We need to understand Chizuru's situation and think about the meaning of the action she took. If we do so, we can say that the feelings in between them are clearly depicted. That is the expression of the feeling between the situation and the action. This is Chizuru's true feelings, which she cannot honestly express in words or on her face. For example, let's consider Chizuru's feelings after being saved by Kazuya at the sea in volume 3. Let's organize Chizuru's situation, including her relationship with Kazuya. Chizuru had just met Kazuya, a customer as a winter girlfriend for Chizuru, who likes her job of being a love cheerleader. Kazuya, who's trying to recover from a broken heart, is a customer who would like to steal went from again. However, she still doesn't know who Kazuya is and doesn't trust him. Unfortunately, Grandma Suya almost finds out that she is working as a winter girlfriend. Chizuru introduces Kazuya as her real boyfriend. She promised Kazuya that they would tell the grandmothers Nagami and Suya that they were breaking up on the trip to the beach. She also praised Kazuya, saying, "You have a manly side," for telling people around him that he was thinking of breaking up with her. Let's take a look at Chizuru's actions. Kazuya risked his life to save her when she drowned in the sea. She says, "I told you I'm your winter girlfriend." Saying this, Chizuru regretted that she has endangered the life of Kazuya, who was just a client at that time. Chizuru's mind was filled with those words. He's not a bad guy. I'm sure he'll make you happy in the end. I don't know what to be angry with a woman who fell in love with my grandson. The words of her grandmother echoes through her mind. Well, his grandmother, anyway. Kazuya risked his life to save Chizuru. She thought that Kazuya must be a good guy, as Kibe said. Moreover, for his sake, the feeling of not wanting to make grandmother Nagami sad moved her again. That's why afterwards she told Kazuya, "Well, thanks for that, for going for to help me." Chizuru acts like that. "Of course, because I'm your girlfriend." It's a girlfriend declaration. She promised Kazuya to tell the grandmother Kazuya's friend about the breakup, but she declared herself as his girlfriend in front of Kazuya's friends. Because this feeling was born in her at that time, when Kazuya later asked her, "I want to rent you," she said, "Okay, and don't worry, I won't leave you alone while I'm your girlfriend." That's why she promised Kazuya she would continue to be his fake girlfriend until he got a real one in chapter 20. Chizuru does not speak her heart easily to either Kazuya or the reader, especially when she first meets him. She's offensive and uses harsh words. After being rescued from the sea, she is also too embarrassed to express her feelings honestly through words or facial expressions, because she is shy about the fact that she did something like kissing him. She turns her back to Kazuya, but the action including saying the words that I explained above. Chizuru's feelings are clearly portrayed. Chapter 16, I see, thanks. This is Reiji Sensei's expression of the feeling between situation and action. Besides, for example, where Chizuru reveals her dream to Kazuya, opening herself a little bit more. In chapter 61, it's silly, right? Chizuru views her dreams as childish. Chizuru is a girl with a high sense of pride. Probably never told anyone about her dream, but she did tell Kazuya about it because when she was about to give up on her dream, Kazuya encouraged her, saying, "Don't say you're giving up." For Chizuru, Kazuya is an important person who is on her side. It's because of Kazuya that Chizuru wanted to tell him. In Kanokari, there is no self-serving explanatory dialogues by the author. Reiji Sensei never lets his characters say words that contradict their feelings in order to explain them to the readers. In real Japanese relationships, sometimes you want to talk to this person, can't talk to that person, can say it because you want to, and can't say it well in some cases. These are really live words like that in Kanokari. When Kazuya covers for her at a drinking party, Chizuru doesn't say "I'm glad" or "thank you" in chapter 73. She instead leaves a bottle of turmeric lover, a supplement for hangover, with the comment, "You're drunk," for him in the fridge. Basically saying, "I'm glad you covered for me at the party, thank you." She felt this feeling, which is why she gave Kazuya the supplement. When she declared him a fair neighbor relationship, she didn't mean that she was giving him permission to have a private neighborly relationship. She greets Kazuya with "good morning." Chizuru herself has already begun to treat him as a neighbor in chapter 40. However, Kazuya is not aware of this and avoids having a private relationship with Chizuru as much as possible because they are a rental and a client. Chizuru is not happy about that. She tells him in chapter 57, "We'll be fair neighbors from now on," basically saying, "I want you to talk to me more. I want to be with you." Because she felt this way. She told him that she wanted him to be a fair neighbor. In chapter 61, greeting him on campus, especially for Chizuru, a winter Kanojo having a private relationship with a client is something she wants to avoid as much as possible. Still, she wants to spend time with Kazuya. This is the expression of "I like you" between the situation and her action. It's Chizuru Mizuhara's hidden dairy. The word dairy is a Japanese word that means an expression of affection. Throughout the series, such as the first year after meeting Kazuya through volumes 1 through 6, she shows her affection for him by helping him as a winter girlfriend. Later, after he supports her as an actress, volumes 7 through 12, she declares that she wants him to be a fair neighbor, forgives him for letting Ruka stay in his room, leads him on dates, and shows her affection for him in relationships other than as a winter girlfriend and a client. After the film production begins, volumes 13 through 19, she shows her affection for Kazuya, making their dreams come true and living up to his desire. Chizuru doesn't say, "I like Kazuya." She will not try to hug or kiss him, and sometimes she can't even smile or wear at him. But if we can capture Chizuru's feelings from the situation, her actions is equivalent to saying she likes Kazuya and wants to be close to him, and that's important to her. But Chizuru's feelings expressed clearly and impressively. I've always said that Chizuru's feelings cannot be understood just from her lines of dialogue or her facial expressions. This is because Chizuru herself rarely speaks her true feelings, nor does she try to express them in her facial expressions. However, if you understand Chizuru's situation, especially her relationship with Kazuya, and think about what she wants to do with her actions, her feelings are clearly and impressively depicted. Examples are 86 when she says to herself, "I'm such an idiot," when her grandmother tells her, "But there's no one better for you than him," in chapter 112, or in 127 towards Yumi, "I don't like him, but I don't not like him," and in 166, "Did you hear that? He said my perfect girlfriend is," and in 174, "I feel like an idiot." Especially in these important scenes, words are distant, but Chizuru's feelings are expressed through situations and actions. For example, when Chizuru realized that she was in love with Kazuya in chapter 86, I almost screwed that up. When she believed that it was okay to love him in chapter 112, when she wished for the future of the two of them while suffering from the fact that he didn't like her, at least that's what she believes, in chapter 127. When she strongly wished to be by Kazuya's side in 166, and when she finally learned Kazuya's true feelings for her in chapter 174, etc. My explanations are based not only on her facial expressions and words/lines, but also on situations, especially the relationship with Kazuya and her actions. So please refer to it. Put yourself in Chizuru's shoes and try to sort out the situation, especially her relationship with Kazuya and her actions. When you do this, you'll be able to grasp Chizuru's feelings that you could not see before. You will also realize that these feelings are all connected together to form Chizuru Mizuha's love story. You also notice her desires and struggles. And that's the end of the video. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I hope this video convinces you that there's no doubt Chizuru has feelings for Kazuya and always has been. If you enjoyed this video and want more relationship analysis videos like this one, make sure to subscribe to this channel, click the bell, leave a like, share the video. All that goes a long way to show to me that people genuinely not only enjoyed this video but found it insightful. And if it's get good enough views and likes, I might even do a video on Chizuru's perspective of chapters 1 through 75 from her perspective of the series thus far. That would be very interesting. Now would it? Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in my next video.